Hi, Beach Channel. I'm Chef Michael Jacobs, and this is South Florida Food Chat. Buenos días, señor. ¿Cómo estás usted?
Buenos días, chef. Muy bien. Gracias por recibirme.
Leandro, tell me about you. I understand you have this wonderful restaurant in Miami Beach.
Once again, thank you so much for having me and give me the opportunity to meet you and tell you more about ourselves and our restaurant. I am from Buenos Aires, Argentina originally. Moved to Miami in 2021. Second time I came to the US. My first experience was up in Jupiter, Florida, small town 2 hours north of here. And after doing some other jobs elsewhere, I decided to come back to Miami and open a restaurant in Wynwood, which is not Muchaaachos, the one we're talking about today.
Let me stop you there for one second, Leandro. You grew up in the industry, though, correct?
Yeah, I grew up, but I kind of didn't want to. You know, it was.
I understand that completely.
Yeah, you know, my great grandparents came both from Italy and from Spain to Buenos Aires. They had restaurants, so and that's what most of the immigrants that came in the early 1900s in Argentina did.
Correct.
But as generations passed along, you know, the first who came had no education. The second ones were able to go to middle school, elementary, middle, and then my parents both went to university. So
first generation
restaurant wasn't a thing. So I was told to study something else, which I did, and I was happy I did. I got to travel and worked in media for a very long time, but I knew at some point I was going to come back. And that was in 2017 when I decided to quit my job in Madrid. I was living at the moment and opened our first restaurant with 5 friends in Buenos Aires, burger pizza shop.
You left Madrid, Spain to go back to Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
We'll discuss that off the air later. Next.
Yeah, I had to do it. You know, it was a point in time I was happy. Madrid's an amazing city. It was thanks to Madrid that I decided to go back to the industry. You know, as if you've been there, I'm sure you walked around those little cafes, restaurants, food, it's everywhere. So I was being, as a client, as a customer, living in a food city, and I was not part of it. So it's like, I need to be part of this. And I decided to quit my job on the spot after 10 years and move to Buenos Aires and open a restaurant.
Muchaaachos. Mm-hmm. First of all, how do we come up with Muchaaachos?
Well, I'm the face of part of a bigger company or bigger, you know, there's more people involved in this. Mm-hmm. The person who had the idea of calling this restaurant Muchaaachos. It all started with the 2022 World Cup that Argentina won after 36 years. I'm sure nobody heard about it in Miami.
They won the World Cup. Hold on. I don't think... Yeah, we'll have to get back to that.
We were not loud
was
about
that number 10 guy part of it?
There was a number 10 guy, we were definitely not loud. And, you know, we were humbled.
What are you talking about? We felt it all the way up here in Miami, all the way from Buenos Aires and in Europe when it was... Okay, anyway, go ahead.
So it all started there. You know, it was such a happy moment for all of us winning that World Cup. And Miami, it's the northernmost city of Argentina. That's you know, that's that. And where the restaurant is now, it's Little Argentina or Little Buenos Aires. So that's when it all started. We knew we had to do something related to football, to food, to culture, and the name Muchaaachos. It's the song that the fans of Argentina sang during the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. It all started with that song that I'm not going to sing because I'm horrible at it. I'm not going to expose myself to that. But you can check it on YouTube, Google, Instagram, or I'm sorry, in Spotify, and you'll find it.
It's an Argentinian steakhouse, but it's a twist on an Argentinian steakhouse. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, obviously, as we were saying before, Miami, it's a city where Argentinians have come for many years. There's a lot of
There's
residents.
Argentinians in Miami?
There are a couple. I'm not the only one.
Just a couple.
Let me put
Just a handful.
I'm not the only one. I'm not going
Shocking.
to.
Yes.
So, and there's other great Argentinian restaurants who popped in the 90s and early 2000s. But what we wanted to do was to bring our own interpretation of it and base the experience in 2 or 3 things that are non-negotiable for us, which is everything has to be homemade. We like to cook like in the center of the country. Even within Argentina, you have different ways of doing asado or barbecue.
Regional.
For example, in the west, by the mountains, we're doing with wood. In the center of the country, which is Buenos Aires, Córdoba, Mendoza, that's where we're from, we use charcoal. So we knew that doing this, we had to have a charcoal grill. So we took out the propane grill that Vacas Gordas had, which was massive, huge, and beautiful. And we brought in a Josper, which is a Basque country piece of equipment. And
Jaspers are a beautiful piece of equipment.
They're beautiful.
They're beautiful.
They're beautiful.
And they smoke, they cook, they grill, they do everything. It's a fabulous piece of iron.
It is, and it's, we could not do for our own. We wanted to have the best product possible and cooked with the best equipment.
Yeah.
And we found this, and we do charcoal grill, and the rest of the thing is just simple.
Do you use a specific charcoal?
Yeah, we bring the charcoal from Argentina. It's Josper itself who brings it for us. From the north of the country, it's with quebracho. I don't know how to say that in English. That's the tree.
The wood, the specific wood that they cook, that's brought into coal form.
Exactly. So we use that fuel for all the steaks, the chicken, the fish, the veggies. Everything comes out of the
Josper.
Both the Josper oven and grill. There are some products there that we're super happy and proud of. So that's our twist, everything homemade. The secret to this, or which is interesting, is, as we were saying before, Vacas Gordas was there for 30 years. And we were able to convince the original chef of Vacas Gordas to stay with us. His name is Jose Luis. He's from Uruguay. He's been in Miami for 40 years now, and he stayed with us. And he's the one who does desserts, breads. We make our own chorizo. We don't buy commercial. We grind the pork and we do it ourselves. So those are the non-negotiables for us that we want to bring out and have everyone who comes to the restaurant appreciate.
What are the dishes or dish that reminds you of back home in Argentina? Like, what are the specific dishes on your menu, on the menu of Muchaaachos, that you say, I feel like I'm back home in Buenos Aires?
Well, there's several. Obviously here, it's impossible that I can be objective. I'm going to be very subjective in my answer. While creating this menu, very good friend of us helped us create it and fine-tune the recipes. He worked with Francis Malman for many, many years, and he was part of it.
I was going to say, so Melman, as a lot of people know, is a very wood oriented as opposed to charcoal.
Yeah.
Melman loves wood, and that's where his concept and cooking of barbecue or Argentinian style, cooking comes with wood burning, and yours is charcoal. So there is a difference, but that's wonderful that they trained under.
Exactly. And the first chef that helped us open the restaurant and did our first menu is a good friend of ours. His name is Sebastian. He worked many years under Malman, and he also works here in Miami in a restaurant. So while doing this menu, again, I'm not going to be objective. I'm going to be very subjective. The one dish that reminds me more to home and I'm more nostalgic about, it's our milanesa with tagliatelle. It's a breaded beef. We serve it with homemade tagliatelle with butter, like butter noodles.
Yeah.
Usually milanesa is with fries or with mashed potato or with salad, but this one
is chopped tomatoes on top or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this is a very nostalgia dish that we were fed when we were kids. So when I eat that dish, I remember my days. Family. Yeah, 100%. The empanada, it's something that we're very proud of. Obviously,
Are you making your own wrappers too? The dough?
We don't make the wrappers.
Okay.
What we do is we hand cut beef instead of using ground beef. We hand cut hand cut filet mignon.
Tenderloin,
Yeah, to make it tender. The provoleta, it's something that it's
I love good provoleta.
amazing, and it's simple because it's grilled cheese.
Yes, but do you put your herbs on top, the oregano and the...
We do.
What do you put on yours?
Chimichurri. So
Chimichurri.
this is the way we do it. As you well know, chef, we have to let the provoleta sit out for a couple of days so it sweats out. But the secret to that is that the temperature that the Jasper oven gets to makes that texture unbeatable. You know, there's no way you can eat a better provoleta. Even if I take the same cheese and I cook it at my house, I won't get to that texture.
Way, yeah.
No way.
It's one of my favorites.
So the milanesa, the provoleta, and the empanadas are something that I'm extremely passionate about. And then it's steak on the grill. And that's when you will have your favorite. Some people like more fatty, some people like more lean steaks. So I let them come and choose their up to their taste.
Talking about all the dishes, specifically, you know, steak and so forth, let's touch upon Argentina has, you know, a little bit of wine they're known for, we'll say.
We do.
There's a little region, you know, a little Mendoza that doesn't do much business. I'm sure. No, I'm joking. Obviously, let's discuss a little bit of your wine. Do you pair your wines? Do you have by the glass, by the bottle? Tell me a little bit about how you put the wine list together or how that was conceived to go with the menu.
Sure. Yeah, obviously, thank you for acknowledging the fact that Argentina, it is a wine country.
It is? Oh, no, I'm just reading the teleprompter. I'm joking.
The industry itself, you know, we started making a name for ourselves thanks to Malbec, as you well know. It's a grape that was a horrible grape in France, but for some reason Argentina grows and fall in love with our terroir. But there's other great grapes in Argentina, and they, you know, because of the country's ups and downs in terms of economy, exporting those wines hasn't been the easiest. But now we're at a point where you can find really good Argentinian wines.
And reasonably priced.
Unreasonably priced. You know, it's
except for the tariffs, but we're not going to get into that. So we're not going to go there now.
It's a bit complicated.
I'm not going to touch that. That's PC.
But yeah, and the direction of the wine, we worked the list with a great friend of us. She's British. Her name is Sarah Phillips. Yes.
Excuse me. Stop.
Yes.
Sarah Phillips, British.
She lives in Miami. Yeah. Sarah Phillips.
I want to meet Sarah, and I want to have dinner and drinks with Sarah.
I'll take you.
Please.
I'll take your word.
I need to.
No, I'll take your word. I'll make that thing happen at Muchaaachos. Happy to have you there. She's a great person, wine expert, obsessed with wine to the point that it's, you know, impossible to have a conversation that doesn't end up in talking about the very small detail of the fine print of X wine.
Fantastic.
And she has a lot of experience with Argentinian producers. And we wanted to do, as we were saying before, there's many Argentinian restaurants, and each restaurant has its own wine list. We wanted to have a wine list that would be different from the rest and would have someone for everyone. I guess everyone who does a wine list tries to do the same, but our approach here was to have all Argentinian wines produced in Argentina or wines produced by Argentinians elsewhere. Following the same example as football. You know, we have great football players who play in the local league.
You know, I love the fact that you mentioned that. That's part of my next question, but please finish your statement.
You know, and we also export football talent. You know, there's this guy who I'm sure we're going to talk about it later in the interview. And that also happened in the wine industry. There's wine producers producing in Spain, for example. There's a guy called Matias Michelini who is doing an amazing Mencia that is on our wine list. So that's our concept. We want to have everyone finding someone, whether you're a more classic Malbec drinker who goes for a household name, like a label, you'll find something there. You want to try some very terroir-driven Malbec that it's only found in that location, you'll find that at a reasonable price. But also give space and give room to other grapes that are grown in Argentina. For example, Bonarda. It's a grape that is only raised, you can find it in Argentina, and you can find an amazing Bonarda compared to a Pinot Noir, a little bit heavier than a Pinot Noir, but it's delicious. That would be on the natural side of the wine list, so to speak. For example, Albarino, we have to have Albarino, but we chose an Albarino that is grown by Argentinians in Uruguay.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
I hear Uruguay's got some beef. No pun intended with Argentina.
Yeah,
We'll discuss that later.
So that's the wine direction. We are in a neighborhood. We are a neighborhood restaurant. We're not a South Beach.
Which, let's discuss that for a quick second. I think that's great because we need a lot of neighborhoody restaurants. We have all the imports, so to speak. We have names and reputations and the glitzy places and so forth, which that's fine. That's a whole different level. But we need a lot or more of the neighborhoody restaurants where anybody can go, not break the bank, feel like they're getting a great experience, a really good, bang for their buck, so to speak, but still eating great quality food, drinking really good wine in a really great atmosphere close to home. And I don't have to worry about it. And that sounds like what Muchaaachos is doing.
That's what we want to do. That's what we are as well. I come from that background. I grew up eating in neighborhood restaurants. And that's it has to be shown everywhere. What's
your favorite late night snack with a glass of wine from?
My favorite late night snack. I'm gonna be very, very honest. What I love, what I eat a lot in the restaurants, is French fries. Believe it or not.
Papas fritas.
We hand cut fries.
Oh, yes.
We hand cut the fries, and whenever the shift is about to end, I order a side of fries with a glass of whatever I feel like drinking at the moment. Bonarda is a wine that I've been drinking a lot. Like a chilled Bonarda with French fries, and then I'm ready to close the shift and go home and try to sleep.
Don't tell my family because they'll be there in a minute. That's
Please.
Everybody's all about French fries. So there's a little rivalry, maybe you're familiar with it from, as you refer it to as football, we call it soccer in the U.S., between Argentina and that country that's a little north of you called Brazil. How do you handle not just the rivalry is one thing, but the food rivalries? Like, what makes the Argentinians have a barbecue? Well, so do the Brazilians. They do barbecue. So sports, soccer, football, and barbecue. Give me a little taste of
on the football end. On the football end, so we start with the they have won 5 World Cups. We won 3. But if you go to the lyrics of the song Muchaaachos, it explains very well why Argentina is Brazil's
nemesis.
Father.
Oh, who's your daddy? Right, got it.
And I'll leave it at that. And in terms of barbecue,
that's bad. You
go research the lyrics and you'll understand why.
I'm going to call Pedro Martinez.
Like the important games, who was the team who won. Brazil has great players. They've won many World Cups.
Of course.
But in the 1-to-1, who has won more games? Do your own research. Whoever cares about this, and they'll know.
I'm going to assume there's a few TVs with games going on at the restaurant. I'd have to hope
There are. We show the games, and it gets very lively.
You're also working on a bar, I understand, right now?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that for a minute?
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity again. We are, we found an amazing location, and we partner up with a restaurant called Batubelin in the Upper East Side. And we're opening behind that a hidden cocktail bar.
I got 2 more questions for you. And I wanted to know, first off, what are some things, since you've been in the industry, you grew up a little bit in it, you stepped out, you came back, what are some things that people don't know about the restaurant industry that's interesting that they don't know that you would want to tell them?
It's... like I'm sure there's other industries where they say the same. It's not a job, it's a lifestyle, because you have to live every day. Every day there's different challenges and different things you need to solve. I think the biggest thing that it's shared across everyone who works in this industry is make it happen. You have to make things happen every day. It's not that it's a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and then you get 2 days to just go home and come back on Monday and check on your emails. It doesn't stop. It's beautiful. It's very demanding. You get to meet a lot of people who work with you, a lot of clients who become regulars, and you end up seeing them grow from kids that start showing up in your restaurant when they're in elementary school, end up asking you for a job a couple of days after. So it's beautiful. It's very transforming. We have this girl that works for us. She's a busser. She's been here with us for about 1 year. And a couple of weeks ago, she came to work all happy. She's now from the US. She's from Guatemala. And, she's jumping up and down. It's like, what's going on? Why are you so happy? And she said she was able to buy a home in Guatemala.
That's fantastic.
And those are the things that you see.
Right.
Everything is very, very complicated.
Yeah.
Vendors and, costs. But when you see someone that is there for you working and gets to share that, it's not like buying a home in the US. It's not as transformative. So those are
and
things
you played a part in that, and you feel like you bought a house with her, right?
You don't realize. It's really, really.
I love it.
Fulfilling in that sense.
Yes.
She's young. She's on early 20s, and
that's fantastic.
She has a kid, and she's able, thanks to, she works a lot.
Of course.
60, 70 hours a week. I mean, she's a beast working. She's really good. But the fact that that's what I'm saying, it's very transformative in terms of everyone who works with you. You get to feed.
It's your family.
It's family, and people who come in, you make them happy for a couple of hours. And I guess those are all things that we all share. But when there's moments like that, that's awesome. That you really that I really connect with. I'm like, okay, it's worth it. Beyond just having a delicious steak.
Yeah. No, the sacrifices we make in this business, people don't always understand or see, and we're not always home for the holidays, or we're not always there for the birthdays, or we're not always there for certain things. But your family at work, when they have an accolade or when they are able to do something like that, those are big for us.
They're big
just
moments.
as happy.
It makes us happy, as I say. Obviously we're all happy with a full dining room.
Right.
With that. We're all happy with that, and the energy is super high. But also there's low moments and down moments. But that one was very recent. That's why I shared. I think anyone who works in this industry or owns a restaurant or it's part of it can relate to that feeling.
Last question. We have a habit of doing this on South Florida Food Chat. My question always ends with, who would you like to eat with, dead or alive, and what would be that meal at your restaurant?
At my restaurant. I hope it's not a cliche, but I would really, really, really like to enjoy a meal with Anthony Bourdain. It was part of my falling in love with this industry and with the world travels and everything. I relate to it. I saw his shows from the very beginning. So sitting down and sharing the milanesa with tagliatelle with him would be something that would be very, very, very happy with. And
maybe a side of French fries.
And a side of French fries too, for desserts. French fries and helado dulce de leche.
Well, Leandro, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. And Muchaaachos is on the list for us to hit next. This is Chef Michael Jacobs. This has been South Florida Food Chat. Thank you for joining.